following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Sitting down and designing, why every man in my thinking, what are we gonna be wearing? Yo, I'm a Liverpool MC, you can't trust me, big up the girls inside the party, let's get down to crazy Jimmy, big up myself and known as Alfie, the one and only, the Turkish MC.
Always love the clothes of Jimmy.
Bitch, I'm your one I wanna be, Jimmy Star's new celebrity.
We'll take you out to Jimmy Star's.
Hey ho, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, bringing you the good times in music, fashion, pop culture, and entertainment. We got a fun show for you guys today. We've got two great guests. Before we start talking about that, let's just say hi to our audience and to our cool, outrageous man about town, Mr. Ron Russell.
Not so cool and not so about town anymore. This knee job, let me tell you, when does the pain go away? I am in such pain, you have no idea. And Jimmy said, well, he would do the show alone. I said, how could you carry 2 hours? Frank Sinatra couldn't even carry 2 hours. So I said I would do the show. Now, I'm doing this show with pain.
But you look fabulous this week.
Well, you know, corpses look good too. Yeah.
So we have a chat room with people in the chat room. What's up? Starting to fill up. Stefan Bell's in the chat room. Cindy Lady Lake's in the chat room. We do have a fun show, you guys, today. We have two guests. Both have been on the show in the past. The first guest is going to be Charles Rosenay. He's a great guy, and he's like written books, and he acts in movies, and he does cool tours. And so I think it'll be fun having him back on the show again. And then we have James DuMont coming back on, who's a really well-known character actor. He's been in the biggest productions with the biggest people, and he has a brand new movie that just coming out on May 9th that we're going to talk about, plus all the other stuff he does. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it.
Well said, Jim.
There we go. And Ron is doing much better, you guys, even though the pain is terrible, and he actually gets to go to see the doctor for the first time since the surgery tomorrow. So
I will never do the other leg, the other knee, never. I mean, you know, some people sail right through it, but I have that problem. I can't take any kind of narcotic because I go crazy.
Yeah, he can't take anything, so all he's taking is Tylenol.
What's it called? What's it called? What I have?
Well, I don't know what you have, but you got post-operative delusion.
Post-operative?
Delirium. Post-operative delirium.
Imagine post-operative delirium. Oh, because if I take a
painkiller,
it affects my mind.
Yeah, so he's not taking anything but Tylenol. It's difficult, but he's doing good. He had therapy yesterday, and he's walking around, and so he's doing much
it'll be
better.
Fine. It's a couple of weeks more bullshit, and then I'll be bouncing around again.
Which is good because we got lots of big stuff going on.
Lots of stuff coming up, movies and all kinds of things.
Yes, big. Also, a movie that Ron has a little role in where he gets killed by a rat came out yesterday. Big Freaking Rat is available to stream on all platforms, you guys. We have a lot of friends in the film. Just came out yesterday, so if you want to stream it, I know it's on Amazon Prime. I don't know where else it is.
It's a trilogy, so there are 3 tiny stories.
Oh, there it is?
Yeah, it's a trilogy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Big Freaking Rat.
I'm in the last story, the 3rd story, where the gangsters have a squealer up in a cabin, and they're going to kill him.
They say that you look way better than you're feeling.
Thank you. That's because all I do is sleep. If you sleep, for 5 weeks.
No, it's only 3 weeks, honey. That's
what, I know.
If it was 5 weeks, you'd be better already.
I don't think you're going to get anything out of me today of sense. So just chalk it
They're
off.
saying though, no kidding, you look way better. So
Thank you very much.
So everything is good. Check out Big Freaking Rat, you guys. We also have a couple other movies that I'm involved with. Night Mistress is out, available now. Purgatorium is out, and The Beast Inside is out. So there's 3 films that I produced out that you can go and see. They're all on Amazon Prime. I don't know what else they're on. Tubi. Purgatorium's on Tubi, so check it out. And let's see. We want to thank everybody who's tuning into the show. This is our second week back. We're on Podbean now instead of Red Circle. So please, you can listen to us on Podbean. We're also on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, TuneIn, Amazon Prime, and 360 TVN. 360 TVN is the television network that is actually run by Kadrolsha Ona Karol, who was on our show last week as we came back. So check us out on all those platforms. We're on about another 150 other ones, but those are the ones that everybody seems to know. So check us out. Keep watching.
And you would think that we're rich, right? You'd say, oh my God, they must be loaded. Look at all the channels they're on. No.
Nope. But we're having a good time, and we get to do a lot of fun stuff.
I wait for my Social Security check to come every week.
Every month.
Every month.
I wish it came every week. Anyway, we do have 2 fun guests. I also want to tell everybody, check out Dark Frights magazine. It's darkfrights.com. We've got a bunch of new content that's been going up every day. We're trying to build it up into the biggest horror website on the planet. And it's number 20 right now, but we want to get to number 1. So please check it out. And check out Dark Frights Horror News with Jimmy Starr, which is just a quick horror movie news, like review show. And that's on YouTube. You can check it out. So check them out, both of them. Then, let's see. I forgot what else I was going to say because I didn't really take notes for anything cool to talk about. And we haven't done a thing.
We haven't done anything.
You guys, we haven't done a freaking thing.
Or gone anywhere.
We haven't gone anywhere in 3 weeks. And
I haven't left my bed in 3 weeks. And all I do is lay there twisting and turning and wishing my leg was better. I'm telling you right now, it's not a joke. So people are full of shit. I mean, I have found that years ago when I was young. I affirm it now. People are bullshit artists. You had your knees done? Yeah. How was it painful? No way. No way. I did it. I was out the next day doing the rumba. Bullshit. They lie. They say that because they don't want to scare you. They don't want to tell you the truth. It's the most horrific, painful surgery you can possibly have on bone. Ask any doctor. Every one of my doctors, they all say the same thing. It's the therapy. The knee is swollen like a ham, a balloon. And the therapy they make you do is bend it and walk on it. The therapy kills you. It's no joke. I would never do it again. And I'm sorry I did it. Had I known, I would have stayed with the bad knee.
Probably me too, because I've had 3 knee surgeries on my left knee. None of them have worked. And now in 2 weeks, I'm going
I have not
knee manipulation where they're going to just bend it.
I have not met anyone that had a knee operation that is doing a pirouette. None. So I should have known better. People like to be phony. I don't know why people do that.
I think some people, though, don't have a problem. Remember Steve Ross?
Yeah.
When we went to the winery, he was jumping up and down and doing kicks and stuff, and he had his knee done.
Yeah, but I'd like to know what it was like in the first 5 weeks.
Oh, yeah, sure. Probably was terrible.
No joke. I'm not talking about a year later when it's healed and possibly could be great. I'm talking about the process, the during. Anyway, that's negative shit, and I don't like negative talk. So let's bring it up to a positive level.
Absolutely. Looks like we're going to be moving forward with a film called Red River, and I'll know more in the next couple of days, but it looks like things are going good for that one, so we're having fun with that. And
you might think that we're full of crap when we talk about we got a film coming. You until the ink is dry, you don't have a film. All right? And that's the sad part of our business. People that have money that invest in films, they do a good job. They say, okay, yes, we're going to invest in your movie. Then some relative comes along and says, I wouldn't invest in that piece of shit. It's not going to make any money. You're going to lose money. So the investor starts to think, oh my God, maybe I shouldn't invest. There are so many outside factors that discourage the investor. The investor has to know that the number one movies today are horror movies. They outrun all other movies. They make the most money if they're good. If they stink, I don't know what happens.
They
to
still
them.
make money, but they don't make us. They don't
They
make
don't
big
make
money,
big
but
money.
they make money.
But if you have a good script, now let me talk about Jimmy Starr. I'm a tough guy. I don't play around. I don't jerk off. All right, jerk people off. Jimmy reads the script. I read the script after Jimmy reads it, and I will discuss that script with Jimmy. Jimmy has only good scripts. They're stories. I read a script, the first 10 pages, and then he went into the closet. And as he got in the closet, there was a monster in the closet that electrified him and then chopped his head off. And then his dick fell off, and then his eyeballs fell out, and blood splattered all over the walls. I don't read that shit. I say to Jimmy, no way. And Jimmy agrees. So Jimmy selects horror movies, not slash movies. It's not for the stupid kids to scream, oh, look, his dick got chopped off. Oh, look, his tits are off. That kind of crap. That's its own genre. Today we are going for better quality horror movies. Movies that you get involved with.
That have a story.
You're involved with the character. The leading man is a hero, and you like him, and you worry about him, and oh my God, the monster's after him, and what's going to happen? You don't want to see him hurt or killed or stabbed. That's what we want today. We want stories again.
I get pitched probably, no lie. First of all, I'm on this thing. I'm a judge on this thing called Virtual Pitch Fest, but I probably get pitched close to 200 movies a month. And I look at the different movies and I look at the synopsises. I've only got like 6 movies on my slate out of thousands that have been pitched. I've only picked out 6 of them because the rest of them all suck.
Yeah, and when I read a script, I don't read beyond 10 pages. I know by the first 5 pages if it's a duplicate. In other words, it's always the same thing. 10 people are in a college, and one by one they get killed. 10 people are in a firehouse. 10 people get killed one by one. It's that same stupid story. The blonde with the big tits, she gets her head cut off. She's always running with her long blonde hair flying in the air and her tits bouncing, hitting her in the face because they're so big and fake. And that's what people were trained to see. Or the horror movie where 5 girls are in a sauna, titless. All you see are tits. What the hell has that got to do with a horror movie? But the young kids like it because they can whack off when they see all the 5 beautiful girls with their wet nipples and tits bouncing in a jacuzzi. So this is what we've been feeding.
Actually, you were in one of those.
I know, but I didn't know that it was a tit movie.
Yeah, we didn't know that when we signed on to it.
I played a minister. You couldn't get more wholesome than that.
You guys, that film's called Clown Fear, by the way. If you want to see it, it's out there.
I was the minister. I didn't know that these broads were going to go out in the desert and jump in a lagoon naked. And some guy is in the weeds whacking off watching them. No, we don't need that. We don't need to show young people tits and ass. Let them discover it as they grow up. Let's give young people good, decent horror movies, like the olden day movies. We love Wolfman. We love Dracula. We love Frankenstein. They held up over 60, 80 years.
They just made a new Wolfman. It came out. It's on Peacock.
I know, but 80 years later, these characters are still
alive,
filming and alive. So that's what Jimmy Starr is doing, and a lot of other producers have followed suit. They all agree with Jimmy. We're looking for quality written scripts.
with a real story.
With the story.
With what Ron always likes to say, a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Of course. Every movie, but no, today the movies don't have that. Because the end, they have no end. They don't know how to write an end, so they leave you hanging. and the blonde girl with the bouncing tits jumps out the window, and the movie's over. That's not an end. What happens to the blonde girl with the big tits? Do her tits act as balloons and she bounces back up into the apartment?
Who knows? Anyway, our first guest is here. You ready?
Ready, ready,
All
ready.
right, let's bring on our first guest, Juan. We're ready to rock and roll. Hello, how are you, Charles Rosenay? How are you?
Guys, I got to chime in about current horror movies, and I think we're not giving enough credit to Neon Studios and A24, who are putting out elevated horror. No boobs, no slasher, but really quality. There's a lot of quality horror movies, I would say, the last 2 or 3 years. I think going back, 80s, 90s, 2000s, yeah, that's what comes to mind. The 10 kids who go to the cabin, they all get naked, they all get killed. That's now the genre joke. I think the movies that are coming out that are worthwhile, whether it's Death of a Unicorn or Sinners, I can go on and on. Barbarian.
Did you see Sinners? I haven't seen it yet, but everybody says it's the best horror movie like in a long time.
It's it's overrated, and I think it's gonna. There's a populace that's gonna think that. I loved it. I didn't give it a 10. I gave it like an 8. But it's certainly quality stuff. Where there's a lot of quality stuff out there. Presence was a quality ghost movie seen through the eyes of the ghost. I mean, there's a lot of quality out there. You just gotta dig. You got to dig a little.
Yeah, you do have to dig.
But Charles,
Charles,
he's Charlie. I know. Charles is to the audience. The people that don't know, listen, I don't feel good, so don't fuck with me too. My knee is killing me. You're a good actor, okay? You're in a film. I enjoy your performance.
Yes.
Then suddenly a pay-to-play comes on the screen with you, and you fall flat on your face because you say to the play-to-pay, I'm going to kill you. And the play-to-pay says, oh, don't. And there you go. All your work went right down the toilet.
Right.
We've got to get rid of pay for play. We've got to only have qualified actors in our movies, because movies with junk, you can smell a mile away. You know that.
Yeah. And
now,
you said smile instead of smell a mile away. And I think Smile is one of the few franchise films that have come along in the past few years that really stands out. And I'm looking forward to the next. Yeah.
Oh,
Smile, and there's one other one.
Quiet. I'm in pain, so you can't play with me today because I'll go nuts and start to slash. No. Have you seen Marcel Waltz's
Blind?
I don't think that's not the same. No. I'm thinking of Don't Breathe. What's the premise?
I love Don't Breathe.
I would suggest you see Blind.
A very low budget, phenomenal indie.
It is a
film.
story. Sarah French was brilliant in this performance. She did not act. Thank God. She didn't scream. She didn't bounce her tits all over the place. It was wonderful to see Sarah French acting. Movie star goes blind through a bad operation. A fan who's a maniac sneaks into her house.
And lives in her basement.
And she doesn't know it, and he lives in her basement. The story is fabulous. The acting is brilliant. And guess what? The movie did shit.
Oh. It
did shit financially, I think, but it won every film festival it was in. It won like 50.
So guess what? Marcel's next movie, they cut a guy's dick off.
And it did great.
And you see it.
Hang on, we gotta actually. I want to actually.
Wait, Charlie, listen to this one. Yeah. I said to Marcel, listen, now they've blown a guy's dick off. What the hell are they going to do next? Put cherry bombs up a woman's pussy? He said they did that. He said they did that already. They did it already.
It's
they
probably
blew his match off.
I'm just, you got me on a roll. Did you see the Demi Moore film?
Yeah, I saw it, but I didn't like it like everybody else did. I mean, I thought it was shot very well, but like I didn't really like it. What's it called? Substance. The Substance, I think.
Substance. Yeah, I was just pleased that her performance was as good as it was, and that it was recognized, because so many of these horror films never get recognized for.
That I agree with. I agree with that, but I just didn't really like the concept of the film that much. But it was done beautifully, and she was fantastic in it. And I'm a huge Demi Moore fan. Matter of fact, my favorite Demi Moore movie is G.I. Jane, which is probably the only movie she got panned as like her worst movie, but it's a great movie. But I absolutely loved it. But wait, I want to do a real intro. Hey, everybody. Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, pop culture raconteur, author, actor, DJ, producer. He basically does everything, you guys. Charles F. Rosenay, welcome to the show. We're happy to have you back again.
And he's a good actor.
And he's a great writer. And you were just at Chiller, right?
I was a Chiller. Had a lot of fun with that. Someone came up to me and said, "Hey, didn't you play? Were you talking about a pastor? Didn't you play a preacher, a father in a zombie movie?" And I said, "Yes." And I got shot in the head. And the guy who shoots me never had a line. And I said, "Wait a second, you have to add the line, forgive me, Father," before he shoots me. And so the director said, "Yes, of course." So before I get the shot in the head, he says, "Forgive me, Father." And I thought, you know what? That alone was better than the whole film. Zombie Chronicles. I get to get killed in that one as a father, as a pastor, as a preacher.
I like working with a director that allows you that freedom.
Yeah.
I just finished a movie, and don't laugh. Clown Motel, 3 Ways to Hell.
Okay.
Don't laugh. It's got 122 killer clowns in it.
120 something.
No movie has that many clowns. One more moronic than the other.
Well, hopefully it won't come out right away, because coming out very soon is Clown in the Cornfield, which we don't want competing clowns here.
Clown Motel, 3 Ways to Hell is the third in the series of the Clown Motel movies. So they kind of have a big following already.
And I'm in them all. And I play General Milan, who gets my men to go out and kill these clowns. The script and whatever. I worked with Joe Kelly, the director, who I love. He's a sweetheart of a guy. And I helped him a lot with dialogue.
Yeah.
And he allowed it. And I think it made the film look a little more Warner Brothers and less $10.
Oh, it's fun. It sounds like a fun project.
Well, you have that expertise also. And I think you should plug into any film that you're in, because you have the knowledge and the background, as I do. I'm 65 years in the business. I mean, I worked as a drag queen on stage for years. I mean, all the way. I've done everything there is. There's nothing I haven't done on stage except pee. And now at my age, I might do that soon.
So I want to go back to Chiller, because like you were promoting Walter Egan, and we've had Walter Egan on our show.
He's a sweetheart, yeah.
He's got one of the like classic songs. Everybody like knows it. He's a great guy. We had a blast when he was on a very long time ago. It must have been like 10 or 12 years ago, but we had a lot of big music. We had Walter Egan, and we had that guy who lives in Woodstock. Oh, I forgot his name. Another really big, we've had a lot of big, because we had Chicago, and we've had Earth, Wind, and Fire. We've had everybody, but I love Walter Egan. Magnet and Steel, right? That's his song. I was trying to think of his song. I was like,
you can't mention it, because it becomes that earworm. It's been in my head for 3 weeks since I, booked him for Chiller, and that's all. The song cannot, Secrets to Reveal. That's the title of his upcoming book. So we'll have to get him on again with you guys when his book is on.
I would love it. He was great back then. I mean, it was a really long time ago, but we had a really good time. So before we talk about all the other things that you do, let's talk about your thing that you've got coming up Saturday, May 17th, since that's only like 2.5 weeks away.
Thank you. Nothing to do with monsters.
Nothing to do with monsters. So first of all, you guys, so Charles has done a bunch of stuff. He has 4 books, and just so you know, he's got one horror book. It's called The Book of Top 10 Horror Lists. He's the biggest Beatles expert like on the planet. And so he's got the Book of Top 10 Beatles list, of which my favorite show is called Collector's Call. And he was on Collector's Call when they had a Beatles memorabilia guy. You were like the expert on the Beatles memorabilia Collector's Call show. And I was so excited to see you on there, because it's my favorite show.
But it was Monkeys, that one. That episode was
was Monkeys? It wasn't Beatles? Okay, I fucked up, you guys. It was Monkeys, not Beatles. Which he also has a Monkeys book. Don't you have a Monkeys book? Or
Turtles!
Turtles. There we go. So not just Happy Together, the Turtles and the Monkeys.
Yeah.
And then he also has a True Ghost Stories of Connecticut book. But anyway, he was on Collector's Call for a Monkeys collector. My mistake, not a Beatles collector. But I love that show. Tell me, how was that being on that show? Was Lisa Whelchel nice?
Lisa Welch was a sweetheart. In fact, I got her to give me a top 10 list for my Beatles book through that. But that was such a great experience. The production team, everything about it. You know, there was a few items that I'm like, oh, do I price it higher because I'm a vendor and the vendors will kill me if I don't? Do I price it low? You know, there's a lot of thought process that went into it, but I really had a lot of fun in it, and I'm really proud of the way that came out. Yeah.
I think that's terrific. Just being on that show. Eventually, one day, I'm going to be on that show with my collection because I do action figures and I've got a great collection. So eventually, one day, I'll be on it.
Yeah, when you have a million pieces of things.
Yeah. But I love it. So anyway, so you're a big Beatles guy. You actually do Beatles tours, right? Don't you actually do Beatles tours in like England or something?
Beatles tours to Liverpool and London every summer for over 40 years for Beatle fans. LiverpoolTours.com. But yeah,
How old are you?
Doing Liverpool productions. We've been doing Beatle conventions for so many years. Those morphed into these festivals, which don't emphasize the guests, don't emphasize the merch, but really emphasize the music and the bands. And we have 8 bands that are going to be playing at this festival here in Connecticut, May 17th from noon on. I'm sorry, Ron.
Go ahead. He said he remembers that.
I remember the thing you did in Connecticut.
Yeah. So this is the first time in a couple years, and it's in a new venue. It's called Dudleytown Brewery. It's this magnificent, large brewery. We're having the whole event right in their beautiful beer garden. It'll be outdoors. Hopefully we'll have beautiful weather. So 8 bands, about 8 vendors, myself with my book, a lot of other authors, and it's just a fun time. For the first time, it was always Beatles. So yes, most of the bands will be doing Beatles stuff and solo material, but one of the bands will be doing all Rolling Stones, and one of the bands will be doing all the aforementioned Monkeys. So we've got a Monkeys band too. It'll be a little more diverse, but still within the 60s genre.
So wait, you said this started in the 80s, like, so what year did you graduate high school?
And then I started doing conventions in college in the late 70s, and then the 80s.
Really good. However old, that means you're probably close to my age if you were doing that. Like
probably older than you. I'm older than both you guys put together.
No.
You know what?
Ron will be 85 next month.
You love to blow it out your ass. No,
What?
He'll be 85 in May.
He blows it out his ass all the time with that shit. We go to cocktail parties, no matter where we go, in 10 minutes, Ron will be 85. I mean, like, put me on a pole.
He's fabulous. Look at him. He's like acting all the time. He's working, except for the knee surgery. He's in great shape.
Charlie, don't ever do a knee.
No.
If you blow a knee, live with it.
I play basketball 3 times a week, and that's one of my biggest fears is that knee injury. So scared. But my dilemma, I'm sorry?
The surgery, listen, I'm a tough guinea from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could take a bullet and still sing.
Yeah.
But this knee thing, I'm in agony right now. You have no idea the pain I'm in. That's why I'm wiggling all over the place. I don't mean to do Lana Turner shots like that.
My dilemma now is when I'm going into casting networks, and it's what role suits you. I don't know what age. I don't know if I'm the senior citizen guy, the grandfather, or if I'm still the young punk. I don't know where to put myself. I did something. I forgot what it was. Marvelous Maisel. I don't remember what it was. And I came in and they go, "Why don't you just let your hair go all white, and you have a beautiful head of hair that's white?" And I'm saying, because I still do 30 and 40-year-old roles. I don't want to commit myself to the white hair.
But wait a second. There's a thing called a wig. Also, I'm in a movie with a very major star. I play his father.
Mm-hmm.
And the producer said to me, "Ron, could you look older? Because you look younger than him." How do you like that? I'm
Wow.
not allowed to mention his name,
Because
right?
we might be changing him. Actually.
Oh, we might be changing him.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's very famous,
Mhm.
and he's in his 60s. So now I said, no, I could center part my hair, wear glasses, and not shave, and
Yes.
limp.
Yes.
You know, that's called acting. So
course.
you know, if you have to play a 35-year-old, you know how to do it. If you have to play an 80-year-old, you know how to do it. So
That's exactly.
I love those challenges. I'm also playing a vampire, a gay vampire, who's probably 50, and that's a whole different me.
Wow.
It's wonderful. I don't like playing me. Gee, yeah, that's a good question. Do you like playing you?
I never played me. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. The
Yeah,
closest
me too.
I played Elton John in HBO's Flight of the Conchords, and I
Right.
thought, well, you know, I can see myself as him, but I've never played me. Oh, that's crazy. That's a great question.
Flight of the Conchords was such a
I've,
great
ne-
show.
I've never played me either.
No,
Right.
it's good. So wait, I want to go back to the Fab Four Music Festival for a minute.
Yes. Yes.
I actually grabbed that video that you did, the promotional video off of YouTube, so we could play it for everybody, just to
Great.
get more exposure for the show. So you guys, first of all, you can go to Fab4, the number 4 musicfestival.com. You see Charles has it on his thing here if you're watching, but if you're listening, it's Fab4musicfestival.com.
Yes.
So why don't you introduce the video real quick? It's only like a minute long, and then we're gonna have Juan. You play the one that says Fab4 Music Festival, and then we'll be right back. And this way we can promote it a little for you.
So my daughter Lauren did a great job of editing this for a prior Fab Four Music Festival a few years back, and she re-edited it for this year. And then we're going to take a look at some of the highlights of what we've seen at past festivals and what we're going to be seeing on May 17th.
There you go. Take it away.
Thank you. They say it's your birthday. It's Mama's Day too, yeah. They say it's your birthday. We're gonna have a good time. I'm glad it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Yay!
That looks like fun. You
It's
know,
pure fun.
and I'm a dancer. At my age, I still dance. People like to say, wow. You know, I really hate that. They expect you at 85 to fall apart and die. I think it's bullshit. I was at my friend's 80th birthday party, and I was dancing. Listen to this bitch. She's a very famous drag queen, but I love her. He's one of my dearest friends. Janae Montague King, that's who it is, who impersonates Lisa Loren.
Liz Loren.
Liz Loren.
Mhm.
Said to me, Ron, I hope when I'm 85, I can be as agile as you are.
No,
Fucking guy was 80. He was 80. He says, I hope when I'm your age, I could be as agile.
oh, that's funny.
I love it. So
But you get all kinds of crap. You know, when I was young, I got, boy, are you good looking.
Uh-huh.
And as I got older, they said, wow, you're really a nice looking.
You
So you look good for your age.
look good for your age, right?
Isn't that awful?
I love it. So where is the Fab4 Music Festival? What city is it taking place in Connecticut?
It's Windsor, Connecticut, which is near where the airport is. It's north. It's the northern part of Connecticut towards Massachusetts, and it's going to be Saturday, May 17th. It's called Dudley Town Brewing Company, and it's from 9. Doors will open at noon, and it'll go till whenever 9 o'clock. And
How much is a ticket?
$10.
Oh, you're kidding.
Oh no, it's
Yeah.
great.
$10. You can't even get bubble gum for $10.
That's ridiculous. The brewery said, hey, we want a lot of people in there. It's more important that we draw a lot of people than, So I said, sure, whatever. I'm doing it for the fun of it and for the fans, so I didn't mind.
It sounds
There you
like
go.
a fun night.
It's gonna-
$10, crap. You go there, you dance your face off,
So do
you
you
drink beer, you piss your brains out.
do you have a
That's
favorite
wonderful.
Beatles song?
Do I have a favorite Beatles song? I'm asked that a lot. And it used to be Here, There, and Everywhere and that became my wedding song. But more often it's While My Guitar Gently Weeps, the Harrison song. And that's only been in the past, I don't know how many years, because when it first came out in the White Album, that wasn't always my favorite. But that's kind of been my go-to, yeah.
I like The Fool on the Hill.
Oh, beautiful song.
That's probably my favorite
The
Beatles
first
song.
time I ever heard the Beatles, I was driving back to New York from Florida.
Mhm.
And on the radio, come, I want to hold your hand. And I
Mhm.
thought, what the hell is that? And then, of course, that was the lead song that made them so famous.
When I was little, though, for my birthday, my sister bought me Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album and an LP, because that's what they had back then.
Sure.
So I had it and I liked it, but it's not my favorite of all the different songs. So
Right.
It was very hard for people my age to transition to the Beatles and all those other groups, because we were so used to Johnny Mathis, Frank Sinatra, Peggy Lee, and then suddenly these people come along screaming at us,
Understood.
and they were screaming, and we didn't like it. The older
No.
people. No, we didn't like. No, the kids loved it, but we didn't like it. Why
Right.
are they screaming? Why are they not singing? Like all the other singers sing.
Yeah. Well,
So
there was plenty of not screaming in the Beatles catalog, but that first impression, I get it. I get it.
They were screaming at us. This music was foreign. We had never heard this music before. Never. The loudest we heard was In the Mood. Glenn Miller's In the Mood.
in the chat room, they Cindy Ladylike likes The Long and Winding Road. I remember too, though. So the last time we had you on, we were promoting you had a couple spots left on the Haunted Trolley. How did the Haunted Trolley go, and is it happening again this year?
My God, it was never so successful. We're doing it again for Halloween. We're trying to. It's going to be like a murder mystery. We're changing the theme. But what you don't know is I also did a Christmas version of it called "Who Slayed Santa," and it sold out. It was hysterical, and we're going to reprise that. That was such a success. We'll do that again too.
I know that I love. So I like all that stuff. So you guys, here's some of the things he does. So okay, he's got the Beatles tour that he does in the UK. What's that?
That's it's every August we go to London and Liverpool. The website's liverpooltours.com.
There you go, liverpooltours.com, you guys. Then he's got the Haunted Trolley for Halloween, you guys. He's got ghost tours to Europe, and then probably the thing that I think is the coolest out of all of them is Dracula tours to Transylvania. And is that an every year thing? Is that every year?
Every October we go to Transylvania. We mix the lore and the fiction and the fun of Dracula with the history and the truth and all the stuff behind Tepish Vlad the Impaler. Great tour. Before we got on, I got a call from someone from North Carolina who says, I hope you're still doing this tour. This is my bucket list thing. And I go, yeah, and you're going to have the time of your life. DracTours.com is how people can go with us to Transylvania, Romania.
I love it. So now how long has the Dracula tours been going on?
Since 98. The Beatle tour since 83. The Dracula tour since 98, and the Ghost tour since about 2001, and we'll be going to Haunted England next summer. So a lot of amazing fun things, and I try to host most of them. There's a lot to juggle here, but we do that. And I've got a paranormal convention coming up in July. I wasn't going to mention it in case I'm coming on again, but we're going a little out of the box with it because it's going to be paranormal, true crimes, a touch of horror, and our special celebrity guest is Butch Patrick, the original Eddie Munster from the Munsters.
I actually wrote it down anyway because I saw it on your Instagram, July 12th and 13th, you guys. and it's paracon.org, but con is like for Connecticut, right?
Yes.
Is that why? So it's PARACONN.org. Butch Patrick, everybody I know who knows him says he's a really nice guy.
Yes.
He's been in some of the films that we've actually worked on, but never shot at the same time we shot our stuff. So I've never actually met him, but I'm Facebook friends though with him, and they say he's really cool.
Yeah, we'll get him on. We'll get him on with you before that. It's funny because it all ties in. He went on one of the Dracula tours as a special guest by himself and had the greatest time. He went to Transylvania with 30, 40, 50 other people, and they're like, wait, what? We have this celebrity on board with us? It's pretty fun.
Oh, that's so much fun. I think the Dracula tour sounds the coolest out of all of them.
I think they're all cool. Can I interrupt us for 1 second?
Yes.
Jimmy, I'm going to get up. Put that pillow under my ass. It's killing me.
Okay. Hang on. There we go. Okay, see if that's better.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So last week, we were actually on a lounge chair, on our recliner chairs.
Yes.
So this is our first try sitting in a regular seat.
Not
coming
fun,
back,
but what are you going to do?
but nothing we can do. But we're getting there, so it works out
All I
totally.
keep thinking about is floating in the pool when I'm allowed. Just floating. Oh, I dream about that.
I love it. So then, do you have an agent or something? How did you get it? Because the Flight of the Conchords, that was a really big deal. When that came out.
Yeah, so this was really weird, Jimmy, because that was an out of the blue. Hi, is this Charles Rosenay? Yes. Do you have representation we can talk to? I go, what's in regard to? Well, we know you can imitate Paul McCartney and Billy Joel according to your other whatever the other was on some profile. Have you ever done Elton John? And Ron, what was my answer when someone asks me, can I do something?
You just say yes.
100% yes. And I did, and
I say, of course.
Yes.
I don't even say yes.
So then did you have to learn how to do it, or did you actually know how to do it?
No, so I went, to the audition, and I wore the brim hat, big glasses. I put a black space between my teeth. I walked in, and they say, you got it. But they didn't tell me is there were 2 Elton Johns in that episode. It was myself and Patton Oswalt. And he's he's the main one, and he's upset at me that there's another Elton John at this soiree or whatever it is. So it's kind of a fun thread throughout the episode. And then there was a Bono impersonator, a Cher impersonator, because the guys from Flight of the Conchords were impersonating Simon and Garfunkel. So there was a lot of impersonators, and it winds up, I think, with a Obama lookalike. It's a really fun episode. It's in the 2nd season. That was great. Yeah.
Patton Oswalt, he's a big deal. I mean, he's huge.
He's
and I don't know. I forgot the name of his wife, but his wife was a big 80s actress who was in Dream a Little Dream. She was the hot girl in Dream a Little Dream, that movie with I guess Corey Feldman or Corey Haim or somebody's in that. But anyway, it was a lot of fun though, and I like all that 80s stuff a lot. So I'm surprised. You should almost do some kind of a book on 80s stuff, because you're kind of you're there for it, and all your list stuff seems to be very popular. Or are you going to come out with book 2 of the book top horror lists or something?
You're so sharp. I've got about 60 of the 100 done, and I'm I lost interest in that one. And I was a chiller, as you mentioned last weekend, and there were so many people I could have gotten lists from. I saw Linda Blair was there, and Geraldo Rivera, and it's just endless amount of guests. And I didn't even bother, because I've got 4 other books in the works. One on Kreskin, the amazing Kreskin, kind of a tell-all. I've got another book on the Gary DiCarlo, who you probably never heard of. He was the voice and writer of Na 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 Na, Hey Hey Hey.
Goodbye.
They sent out a band called Steam, who wasn't on the record, wasn't him. He didn't get royalties till he was in his 60s. A lot of one of those record industry stories. And then I've got another Beatles book and a Monkees book in the works. So too much. Next level stuff. Yeah.
Now, what do you do just for fun?
Well, I don't lay in a pool relaxing, because that would be the opposite of me. I just could not even think, the family says, hey, you want to go to the beach? And well, if I could bring my laptop and my calendar and I could, work while you go. So
That's how I am too. For me, the work is fun.
The work is fun. I love every second of it.
For me, the work is fun. And the only other thing is because I like to shop for action figures, so that's my other relaxing thing, or whatever you would call it, is doing stuff with action figures. But otherwise, for me, the work is the fun, and I'm not very good at relaxing.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
I'm not good at just sitting and doing nothing. Like I need to be doing stuff. So
yeah.
So what are some of your top 10 horror list things for you personally? What are some of your favorite horror things?
Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein comes
I
right.
love that movie. I love that movie.
I can watch it over and over.
I saw it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I went with my sister to see
Yeah.
it. And it terrified me. I was about 10 years old, and I couldn't sleep that night. All I kept thinking of was that being thrown through the window and Dracula. It was a wonderful film. It's probably one of the best horror movies out there.
So fun.
One of my favorites. Have you ever seen it, Jimmy?
Yes, I've seen it with you.
I love that movie.
So wait, what are some of the modern day, do you like any modern day horror stuff?
I love The Black Phone. Came out a few years ago.
I think is getting ready to come out.
I don't know the balance of what's contemporary and not. My midpoint is Exorcist On is contemporary. Exorcist Back is classic. But there's a movie that I like to tout, which people don't know a lot about, is a movie that had a soundtrack by Paul Williams, and it's a better horror musical than I think Rocky Horror, and that's the one everyone loves. It's
Phantom of the Paradise.
Phantom of the Paradise.
Great movie.
Jimmy.
I love
You're
that movie.
screaming.
That is such a good movie. As a matter of fact, I was just recently looking at action figures of the Phantom guy on eBay. But they're kind of expensive.
Winslow Leach, played
One
by
of the
William
first
Finley.
movies that I ever got, that and Phantasm were the two first movies I ever got to see by myself without an adult.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack for Phantom of the Paradise is fantastic. It's such a good soundtrack, and the guy has all the metal teeth and everything. I mean, it's just a fabulous, and nobody even hardly knows it. Whenever I bring that up, hardly anybody knows it. So the fact that you brought it up is exciting to me. I got a little goosebumps.
I love the way you jumped all over it. So that's the one that I throw in when I think that people don't know it and are expecting a curveball. But there's just so many. The Shining, The Exorcist. I'm a big, Universal monsters. So it's crazy that my favorite movies are like The Bride of Frankenstein and The Creature from the Black Lagoon and all those.
God.
So I was very friendly. I was very friendly with Rico Browning, actually.
But the movie
day.
That really scared the hell out of me. Night of the Living Dead, the original.
Brilliant.
The black and white.
Love it.
It was so eerie. I don't know what it was eerie.
Yeah.
And when they began eating the flesh from the burning arm on the truck, we had never seen anything like that in film.
Correct.
It would years ago it would have been censored.
Right. It was groundbreaking.
They allowed it. That film was $65,000 to make, and what a wonderful piece of work.
I actually did so we have this thing in Florida called Spooky Empire. It's a very good horror convention twice a year.
One of the number one conventions in the world, yeah.
Yeah, so with Petey, and so I was a judge for the costume contest with Bill Heinzman, who is the zombie, from Night of the Living Dead, the original. And so he actually gave me one of his action figures and signed it for me. And so it was a really cool thing. So I love all that also. Rico Browning was super, super cool. So was Bill Heinzman. Unfortunately, he passed a couple years ago. Or I guess probably a lot of years ago now, 10 years ago or something. But those movies are fun. My first Night of the Living Dead movie was the one that I saw. The first one I saw was the remake with Tony Todd and Tom Tolles, because Tom Tolles was a really good friend of mine, and he was also in that movie with Michael Rooker. I forgot the name of it. Him and Michael Rooker, and they're like brothers or something, stealing and beating everybody up. I forgot the name, but it's a very popular cult movie. I have to look it up now. I just said that, but I love all that stuff. And Spooky Empire was a great show to go to. When I lived in Florida, we would go to all of them. It was a blast.
Sure, in Orlando, right?
Yeah, it was in Orlando. Yeah, I think now he's got several of them.
I always liked Rocky Horror Show.
Yeah.
Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Oh, wow, of course.
Yeah, so
Rocky Horror Show brought us to a different place. It brought us to horror with music and fun. We loved it. I mean, I brought my kids there, Leslie, when she was about 10, and she couldn't wait. Ain't got no neck. Let's throw the rice, to do all the stuff that we did. It was such fun. Those are the days and the things I miss. I don't think they run that anymore, the Rocky Horror Show, do they?
Because it doesn't serve the same purpose, because you can stream it and watch it anytime you want. But that shared experience in those days of seeing it on a theater and having the audience respond and the audience participation, that was special. Yeah, the toast and the deck of cards and meatloaf all sliced up with no place to go. Hysterical.
No, the best was when he came on. No neck.
Right.
Listen, actually, we should try to get some of the Rocky Horror Picture Show people on the show, because
I would
they're
love
all out
that.
there. I see them doing conventions and
love
stuff.
that.
I should ask some of them.
Some of them are big. I mean, first of all, one of them we don't like. The male lead.
He's not nice.
We don't like him.
Barry Bostwick.
Barry,
He wasn't. Well, he might be nice to other people, but when I met him, he
Barry
wasn't. Barry
Bostwick is not.
I only have like two people that I can ever say that weren't nice to me. He's one of them, and the other one is the guy's just a dick. Which I'm not going to mention it.
Barry Bostwick.
Barry Bostwick was just not nice, but this other guy is a dick, and it's just unfortunate. But
and she is what do you call it? What's her name?
Susan Sarandon.
The lead.
Susan Sarandon.
But
you can get the Rocky Horror Picture, the people though, all the No Neck and all those people. You can get all those different people.
Oh, you think they're still alive?
Yeah, they're still alive. I see them doing conventions.
Yeah, Patricia, I forgot her name, the one who plays Magenta, or those type of people are still available. Yeah, unfortunately, we've lost Tim Curry. And Richard O'Brien, who created it, who's the genius of all of it. I think he lives in New Zealand, so I don't know if he's gettable. I know he doesn't do much on Rocky Horror.
It was fun though. I actually, until you brought that up, I totally forgot about it. But that was so much fun to go to that and see all those things going on.
And we used to go all the time. It wasn't like he went once. It always played at midnight.
Yeah,
in all theaters, it played at midnight.
It was great marketing for that film. It was just, it exploded and it sustained for so many years.
And the music was good.
No, beyond good. I mean, to me, the music is phenomenal in it. Yeah.
Actually, I'm a transsexual from.
I actually talked to about it once with Meatloaf because I went to an Elton John concert and I was his guest, and Elton invited us to go, and in line picking up the VIP passes was Meatloaf was right in front of me, and so like he actually talked Meatloaf and also KC from KC and the Sunshine Band. It was kind of like a very memorable, fun experience back in the day. I love all that though. So how many of the Beatles and the Monkees have you met?
I have met them all except John Lennon. So I met Paul McCartney the most of the Beatles, followed by Ringo, followed by George Harrison once, never John. Monkees, Mickey, I still see a lot. Interviewed him endless times. I was closest with Davey. God rest his soul. Yeah, sweetheart of a guy. I was second closest with Peter Tork, who lived in Connecticut and did a lot of stuff with me. And the one I only met once and knew the least was Mike Nesmith.
That's fun though, like because you have such a fascination and enjoyment, and it's such a big part of your life to actually get to meet them. When I lived in Fort Lauderdale, there was this really wealthy neighborhood on the Intercoastal, and now I forgot the name of it. But anyway, Paul McCartney had a house there, and when Paul McCartney wasn't there, the guy taking care of the house invited us to come and see the house. I mean, it was like something you've never seen. before. It was just amazing, and it was beautiful and gorgeous. And I always thought how cool it would have been if Paul McCartney would have been there to actually like meet him. But
I mean,
it's
amazing.
just fun. So who are some of the most like your favorite? Do you have like people that you've always wanted to meet that you finally got to meet, and how did it go when you met them?
I always wanted to meet the Beatles and never thought I would. So when I met the Monkees in '86, I was like, all right, that's it. Anyone else I meet is gravy. Everyone else is under that. And then a few years later, to have met McCartney was just, this is my life. My life is Beatle events and Beatle magazines and the tours, and to meet my heroes. And fortunately, they lived up to the happiness that I would have wanted them to exude with me. So the back of my Beatles book has a picture of me with McCartney from the first time we met.
Oh, there you go.
Really proud to have gotten photos with him. And I got really closer with Linda, his first wife, Linda McCartney. And whenever she goes, oh yeah, you're from Connecticut, but you were originally the Bronx, right? Well, I'm Scarsdale. I was right in the middle. She would always remember that. And she would say, yeah, we get the Beatles magazine you put out. And she was very cool. But I'll tell you, the first time I met Paul, the guy who introduced us said, this is Charles Rosenay. He produces the Beatle conventions in the States. And Paul goes, oh, that's cool. And Charles publishes a magazine called Good Day Sunshine. And Paul goes, oh, good title. And then he also does the Beatle tours to Liverpool. And Paul goes, when do I get my royalties? So that was like the funniest line. He really broke the ice. And it was, he was kidding, of course. Thank goodness.
No, that's
I can remember when I was very young, being a part of the old Hollywood. Meeting movie stars was probably the most exciting thing I could ever do. Meeting Rita Hayworth was a thrill. But as time went on, it lessened. And I knew, and it was like, hey, hi, Rita, how you doing? I became friends with Jane Russell. That's why my name is Russell. I took her name.
Oh.
I loved her to death. And Jane and I became brother and sister for years. We hung out together. We traveled together. We did everything together. So I'm immune. Really, I'm immune to people. But Jimmy could tell you a story. I mean, Betty Davis, I knew. Everybody.
Elizabeth Taylor.
Hi, Liz. That kind of thing. Gay men.
Oh, it's so funny though, because we lived in Pennsylvania.
Wait a minute. Gay men got around Hollywood in those days easily.
So we were in Pennsylvania, and we were at a screening of a new television show, new TV series, and it was like a red carpet event, and all of a sudden it was over, and everybody was mingling and talking to all the people, and Ron never gets excited about meeting anybody, and then all of a sudden I hear him screaming, Jimmy, get over here. And it ended up that he had met Kathy Sledge from Sister Sledge, and we became friends with her. As a matter of fact, she's our first guest when we turned this podcast from radio to video. She was our first guest.
I love the Sledge sisters.
Our family is kind of like, that's the song, the gay iconic song for all of us. So,
and I just couldn't. I was so excited. Now, better story. We lived in Doylestown in Pennsylvania, and she lived in Newtown. And I said to her, how would you and your husband like to come over for dinner? I'll cook a nice Italian meal.
Yeah.
She said, can I bring Patti LaBelle with me? I almost shit myself. I said, bring Patti LaBelle. Of course you could bring Patti.
And then we ended up moving before it ever happened.
But then it never happened.
We moved to California.
So sold and we moved. But imagine having Patti.
Okay, go ahead. Show us what you're going to show us.
Well, from the Beatles book, we have a top 10 list from Kim Sledge.
Oh, there we go. So we're friends with Kathy and Kim.
Wow.
We
did a fundraiser with Kim Sledge in New York for a 911.
They came from a very religious family. Their mother taught them everything right. They are probably the most decent human beings I have met in our business. I love both of them.
Yeah, we had a blast. They've both been on the show. We had a great time
Oh,
with
yeah.
them, and we
We're
did.
very, I'm
And
very,
we did an event with Kim, so it was cool. So
Right.
let's go over all your shit, you guys. First of all, you guys, we have the Fab Four Music Festival. Go to fab4musicfestival.com. If you're in Connecticut, it's Saturday, May 17th. If you go to bookoftop10horrorlist.com, you can find all kinds of information. Liverpool Productions, what's the website for that one?
The website for my DJ company, Liverpool Productions, if you want me to do your wedding or bar mitzvah or school dance or divorce or anything else, is liverpoolproductions.com.
Okay, and then you have another Liverpool one.
The liverpooltours.com is the
There we
Beatles.
go.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. So you guys want to go, and if you want to have a great trip, go on a Dracula tour to Transylvania. I think that's the
that
coolest
would
thing
be
ever.
interesting, the Dracula.
I think it's the most fun thing ever. Check out all this stuff. Like, don't forget too, if you want to meet Butch Patrick, you can go to Paracon July 12th and 13th. And he's also June 29th. He's got some kind of event in New Jersey, 60 years of the Beatles. That's all I wrote down, so I didn't write anything else. In New Jersey.
Yeah. It's a theater show at Drew University and in Jackson, New Jersey. And it's 90 minutes of unseen Beatles footage. And that's June 29th. But I got to tell you, we mentioned Eddie Munster coming to, Butch Patrick coming to the Paracon, Paraconn, in Connecticut. And for the first time ever, I've got a paranormal TV personality who's a drag entertainer, Monique Tatsoon. And that's on the website too.
Oh, there you go. So you got a little bit of everything going. It'll be a lot of fun.
Everything.
You can also follow Charles, you guys. He's on Instagram at Charles Rosenay. He doesn't put the F on his Instagram, so it's just CharlesRosenay.
Yes.
Charles, thanks so much for coming on. We'll have you back anytime. You got cool stuff to promote. It's always a lot of fun. We so appreciate it, and good luck with everything. And I love all that you do. They're just great. So I enjoy all of it. So thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
We'll see you again for sure.
You guys, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yay. All right, you guys, we're going to take a little music break. We played it last week. I want to play it one more time. This is David Martinez. Sorry, you guys. This is David Martinez. The name of the song is My Sweet Love. It's available now. It's a Lady Lake music artist. David Martinez has been on the show. He's great, so enjoy it. Here it is. My Sweet Love by David Martinez.
My sweet love, you sing to me. Heart overflows with your melodies. My sweet love, you paint my sky. Watercolor love notes brighten my life. I'll never be the same again. Right where we belong. Our hearts keep perfect time. Together, forever, my sweet love. My sweet love, you'll always be everything I'll ever need. My sweet love, sleep peacefully. Pray our dreams are of you and me. I'll never be the same again. Right where we belong. Our hearts keep perfect time. Together, forever, my sweet love. From the start, beautiful and bright, like the moon and the stars. There's a sparkle in
Hey, you guys, that's My Sweet Love by David Martinez. I love that song so much. I've been listening to it all week. Please stream it, buy it, download it, play it. If you're a movie maker and you make movies, use it in your movies. It's a great song, and David Martinez is a super duper talent. All right, so our second guest should be coming on in a couple of minutes. We have 2 minutes to go. Maybe we'll take another little music thing going on. But our next guest is James DuMont. He's super talented. He's got a brand new movie that's coming out, so we'll get with it in a second. But in the meantime, why don't we play Irene Michaels' My Heart? This song won a bunch of awards, so I think you guys will like it. It's a lot of fun. Take it away, Juan. Irene Michaels, My Heart.
Keeps telling me no. My heart keeps telling me yes. Should I stay or should I go? My heart keeps telling me yes, but my mind keeps telling me no. My heart keeps telling me yes. Should I stay or should I go? Sitting in this bed at night, thinking about my love. How am I supposed to know? Should I stay or should I go? How am I supposed to know? Should I stay or should I go? How am I supposed to know? Should I stay or should I go?
Yay, everybody. Up. Hey, Juan, is there a way to take that darkfrights.com thing underneath our name? I don't know how that got up there. I don't know if there is or not, but see if you can take that away, because I don't want that to be there. It should say Jimmy Star. I shouldn't say anything. There you go. Perfect. Thank you.
What is that anyway?
That's my horror news podcast. Anyway, you guys, so that was Irene Michaels, My Heart, and I think our next guest is here, so we're going to bring him on. Let's rock and roll.
Hey, should I stay or should I go?
There you go.
If I
Hello.
should I stay or should I go? If I go, there will be trouble. Should I stay? Should I go? I'm staying.
Yeah. Right now, we want you to stay, and I love the background.
I should have got my pink shirt. God darn it.
There you go. So let me introduce you to everybody real quick. Hey, everybody, now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, actor, producer, self-tape specialist, James DuMont. Hello and welcome to the show, and welcome back to the show.
I know. I'm a glutton for punishment. You got me back in here again.
Yes, I'm excited about it
Can't get
too.
enough. You're like the mafia. Just when I try to get, you keep pulling me back in.
I love it. So you remember Ron. Ron is recovering from knee surgery, and he can't take painkillers, so he's in a lot of pain, but he didn't want to miss the show. So he's here.
Because Ron was in a different mood last time. Ron was in a fiery kind of like lots of energy. Now you're very quiet and calm, but you're
because right now I'm in tremendous pain.
Oh.
This knee surgery is not a joke.
It is. My mom had it. She's 85. But what I would recommend is she didn't want to do the painkillers either, but she just a little gummy. She just did a little gummy of weed, and that's what that did everything for her.
You should try that.
Yeah, but you see what happens with me is they gave me morphine, and I had a delusion. I thought I was kidnapped by aliens. Really, I was fighting to get out of the hospital.
I call it post-operative delirium.
And who says you weren't kidnapped by aliens?
Well, that's my point.
That's a whole.
Perhaps you were.
Something that's quite common.
You didn't realize.
People over 65 have this problem.
Yep.
And it's due to narcotics. I've never done narcotics in my life. When I was young, never.
Well, you missed out on them really.
My body doesn't understand them.
Yeah, so hey, we need the what else to go because I had a knee surgery. Mine's like 2 months ago, and his is 2.5 weeks ago.
But the pain is excruciating.
He wouldn't do it again.
If you think the knee surgery is painful, the people tell me the hip is even worse. So make sure you don't
yeah,
fall.
they told me the hip is easier. They all told me the hip is easier. Wow, you never know. I guess everybody's got a different idea because everybody told him it's not that big a deal and you'll be fine. And he's like freaking out because he can't believe how painful it is. I've had it done 3 times on one knee.
Wow.
And it was terrible.
Well, to beat all pains, a friend of ours, she had a sex change 30 years ago.
50 years ago.
50 years ago. And she said, "You've never understood pain like a sex change, I can imagine."
Oh, yeah.
So I'm grateful that I have my dick.
Oh, man, that's a whole.
I'm happy.
You're talking about some shit right there.
I'm happy that Johnson is there.
That's
so
exactly
I'll
right.
take knee pain.
All right, you guys. So now we have James DuMont, and last time we didn't talk. So sometime in this conversation, after we talk about your new movie, I want to talk a little bit about the self-tape specialist thing because we barely hit on that the last time, and that's something that you do a lot of, according to your Instagram.
Yep.
So you guys, first of all, you can follow James on Instagram. He's at James DuMont. He's also got on-camera workouts. So it's on Instagram. It's on-camera workouts, which I guess is your self-tape specialist.
Correct.
Like Instagram site. And you guys, this guy has been in so many movies. He's like one of the most famous character actors on the planet, probably. I went through your entire IMDb resume today, and like basically you're in like every major something that there is. And believe it or not, I've actually seen tons of shit, but some of it I didn't know who you were back then, as I do now.
Right.
But one of my things that I really, really enjoyed you in was Spencer Confidential with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. You're really like good in that one. So I think everybody should totally check that one out. It's got Mark Wahlberg, Winston Duke, Alan Arkin, Post Malone, which I'm trying to get him in another movie I'm producing. Joaquin Woodbine. So I think it's really cool. And then you did another movie called Roe versus Wade, and Ron used to be friends with John Voight back in the day. But we've had Jamie Kennedy, Robert Davi, Mindy Robinson. Hang on, wait. Let me finish.
No, used to be? No, I'm still friends.
Well, you haven't seen him in a long time.
But if I see him, we talk. It's not like he's
okay.
He's no longer. Angelina Jolie grew up in my house.
Wow.
I used peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for her and my daughter.
Love it.
She swam in my pool. Angie Voight, anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, the movie Roe versus Wade has so many people that have been on our show. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
John
Well,
Boyd has been on it.
I'm going to cut you off there. The producers of Roe v. Wade have not paid the actors, so we don't talk about that movie. I don't want to talk about them at all.
Oh, my gosh. That's terrible.
We'll talk about anybody who screws actors out of their money. they're off. I did it because it was Wade and Roe v. Wade. It was a great opportunity, but no, those people were in litigation with them. All the actors have
I'm
not.
so sorry to hear that. I'm so
Yeah, it's
sorry.
just it's funded by the Christian right in an effort to turn Roe v. Wade over, and we thought when we did the movie it would never happen, and it did. So let's not spend any time on that. Let's talk about.
Anyway, it has a great cast, and they've all been on our show. There you go.
Absolutely. And look, you're right. There's good people in there. There's no two ways about it. But yeah. So
the other thing I noticed
go ahead.
On your IMDb is like you made 1 million movies with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, I've done 1 million, less 3, but yeah. Yeah. I love the way you pitched that though. It's like, but yeah, no, I did.
Deepwater Horizon.
Deepwater Horizon was the first one, and I built up a really great rapport with Peter Berg to the point where I would come up with really great creative choices because I was the vice president of BP. I did a lot of, I'm a big homework and research guy. When I'm playing historical characters, I spend as much time and energy doing research as I possibly can. And I'm always looking out for something that my teacher, Larry Moss, who's thanked on the Oscars by many people, and Larry would say, what's the Achilles heel of that character? Or what's their fundamental weakness? Just like Superman has kryptonite that holds him back. Because most of the time in all creative storytelling, the character, once you find out what the character's weakness is, most of what they say or do is to overcompensate and cover up for that very fact. Right. And that's an incredible way into a character. So one of the things I found out things about my character in Trumbo. I found out things is in this vice president of BP. He was really all about publicly showing how safe the rigs are and how safe everything is, to the point where, and this is a historical fact, he got on that helicopter on the Deepwater Horizon rig in order to present a safety award. And it was really all about trying to pose that this is safe and nothing can go wrong, and that's what the face of BP is. And that's what it was. And that's what his job was, to do that. So there's this whole little moment where we present, God, what the hell is his name off? Kurt Russell's character with a safety award. And I did this whole little thing of like, I said, hey, Pete, I got an idea. Can you get a couple people over here to like take pictures of me with him? And Pete just kind of looked at me and I go, yeah, because we want to show that we're all for the safety, right? And Pete just like the look on his face, like, how the hell did you come up with that idea?
It's like, fuck, we're adults.
Right. Yeah. How the fuck did you come up with that idea? It encapsulates everything of why you and everybody else is on this rig, is to present a positive face, like this rig is safe and nothing can go wrong. And he thought that was a brilliant, I just asked people to just come over and extras to take selfies of me. And then he goes, no, we're going to go a step further. We're going to have somebody who poses as a photographer who's hired by BP. Like, we created an entire story based on one idea that I threw to Peter Berg.
That's cool.
And from that point on, my relationship to Peter Berg changed to the point where he goes, I wrote in and we have an entire scene with you on the rig watching the fire and the American flag in the back. And so I have this whole scene that Peter Berg created because I came prepared and proactive. And that led to, and even the scene in the thing is his favorite. The rig's on fire, Rick. Because in the beginning of the movie, I'm like, you can't wear he tells me not to wear a purple tie because it's superstitious. And I take the tie off. I'm the fucking vice president of BP. And I got some dude on the ring telling me I can't wear a tie. I give him all this shade.
I have to watch the movie
Okay,
again.
gentlemen,
Because the deal is,
my pain level has exceeded my ability to work.
no worries, Ron.
James.
Get well.
James, come back again.
Find a
Come
gummy.
back again when I'm all better.
We'll have
Will
him
do.
back, but we're going to keep going anyway.
All right,
So.
Yeah, get him a little gummy just to take the edge off.
Actually,
We don't have that.
yeah, we don't actually have those. We can get those, but we're like so anti-drug in this house. It's not even like funny.
I got it. It's medicinal in my eyes. It's I get it.
Yes. Oh no, I get it. So I'm going to move over into the
So
middle
no,
here.
just know that my mom, who's 85 and was in a lot of pain, she did a very, very low dose, and that's all she did. She did not take the Vicodin and all the other stuff because it was
Yeah, we
like,
don't.
and she didn't get it, and she didn't get addicted. She, she took naps mostly. She rested well, took naps, and she had a couple munchies, maybe, like it worked out fine. So my point with Peter Berg is that one of his favorite lines is the rig's on fire, because my character goes from being very arrogant to freaking out. And then he wanted me to have this moment where I'm looking at the fire of the rig. I'm looking at the fire in the water and American flag. So he created this entire scene that just is mine because of my preparation and being prepared. And that's partly to parlay into, why I coach. This August will be 10 years of being a coach, is that I've been a working actor and had to self-tape. There was a time where I think half the auditions were offers, half the jobs were offers, and half were self-tapes. And so I had to earn each opportunity by putting down some of the best work I could on a self-tape and create like a mini movie of that character. Like, for example, I was up till 3:00 this morning, vacillating and picking between what takes do I submit, because it's 7 pages of dialogue. It's 6 minutes of an audition. It's a lead in a feature film. I want to show them that I can do not just one way of doing this character. And normally with television or guest stars, I'll do a take 1 and take 2. But with it being a 7-minute audition and 4 scenes, I decided I'm just going to send them 1 and then my reel. But I was really pondering about what work do I want to show them, because I had choices of positive and, one way to do the character and the other way. So I bring this up because what actors have now, which is a huge advantage, is the ability to be able to shoot your own auditions using these cell phones in the comfort of your own home. And it allows you to work all over the world. That's not always been the case. It used to be when there were live auditions that you physically had to live in New York and afford to live there. You physically had to live in Hollywood and afford to live there. You physically have to live in Atlanta in order, or Albuquerque, in order to work there. And that has changed
drastically
to the point where people are wondering why I'm staying in Hollywood when Malibu is still toxic and unlivable, and Pacific, there's no power, there's no running water. There's a part of the most populated entertainment areas in the entire state is uninhabitable, is unlivable. And people who used to work in that, like John Goodman, lost his home in the Palisades, gone to the ground, nothing left. And so, and also the business has looked at it, these vertical integration of bringing in technology companies into the entertainment business, where it's just one part of their profit. They use the same approach Amazon does for entertainment than they do in their packaging, non-union, employees. So there's a lot of, and now AI technology, there's a lot of changes going on. And
AI freaks me out a little bit.
No, look at the other way. It shouldn't freak you out that you didn't have to get up and change the channel on your TV. It shouldn't freak you out that you don't have to have a cord for your phone. We all adjusted to new technologies. At first we were like, I don't want people to reach me. I don't have to have a voicemail. I don't have to have an answering machine, right? If I'm at home and they call me, great. If they don't, I miss them, so be it. We change and adapt as we go along. So my point on all this is that I found a way in which for me to be working in multiple markets and now all over the world by learning the skill and the craft and the art form of creating a self-tape. And they becoming more and more competitive. But when I started self-taping 15 years ago, the people that were self-taping were famous. They didn't want to be subjected to having to audition, and they couldn't necessarily fly to meet that director in London, New York, LA, Chicago, whatever it may be. So what they would do is, let me just send me the material. Let me, you know who I am. Let me just lay down one of the scenes. And if you're interested, then we'll go further. But it was a way in which to kind of like, you know, it was a semi-offer, but it was a semi-audition. It was a soft way to kind of, you know, but people who were more famous and known than I was were self-taping even over 20 years ago. So
But now everybody's doing it, right? Now pretty much everybody's
now it's the norm, because the economics of it, the economics of casting director having to, you know, hold and maintain a physical office in New York City, commercial real estate in New York City or Los Angeles, you know, it's cost prohibitive to do so, you know, as much as they would love to have these interactions, and they do in some cases have it do it virtually, or they rent a place for a period of time to do it. But it's like the cost of that is one thing. And then let's look at the environmental impact. There was a time for Blue Bloods that 10 producers, and same thing for CSI in LA, 10 to 15 people would be in one room at Paramount in the middle of the day. So you have 15 cars on the freeway, all going to one, and then you have 40 actors all driving from all over the place, putting 40 more cars on the road to go to Paramount to be in one room for a 3 to 4 hour period of time. Like, that doesn't make economic and environmental sense anymore.
No, that's true.
I still think it's important to have one-on-one interaction, whether it's virtual or in a live callback situation. But the initial phase or the decision making is happening all electronically.
I can remember back when I started doing. So I'm a shitty actor, and I don't even try to act. But I have been in a lot of films, mostly because I have a big social media following. So people would put me in shit, you know. But I'm not any good, and I never thought I was any good. But I can remember going. You know, I lived in Miami, and so I would go to Miami, and there'd be 200 people fucking auditioning, and you had 200 people
from North Carolina, from Atlanta, from Louisiana.
I just thought that was the worst thing ever. Number one, I never got it. I'm a great producer, but I'm not a good actor. But I do remember that, and I think that what you're saying makes total sense about environmentally, it's better. And you know what? You know, maybe they bring you in after they've looked at 100 tapes, and they pick the 3 they want, and then you go in, because you're narrowing it down. But that way it's not like this huge cattle call. And so basically your self-tape specialist, it's like a school that you teach people how to do it. Is that what you
teach? Our website is oncameraworkouts.com. And I only teach 2 classes a week. And I do today for Wednesday. Today's my hump day. I'm between classes, which is why this time frame works. Is I have a day class that goes, and I'm in Central Time. I have a day class that goes from 11 to 1. It's just 2 hours. And actors upload a couple of their self-tapes. I get to watch their self-tapes, and I give them notes or adjustments, ways in which to make their self-tape stronger. I actually even show, and I showed 2 takes of an audition that I just shot that I edited and sent off. So I teach, I practice what I teach. So I point out things that are in my self-tape about techniques and tools, about eye lines and working the frame, and this is the shelf, mid-frame, and primary, secondary eye lines, creating visual nouns, seeing things before you say them, as opposed to just saying words, and telling the story
There's
visually.
a lot to it. So there's actually so much to it
form
that people might not actually even comprehend, because so many actors nowadays just read lines anyway. Unless you're in the bigger productions, most people just read lines and they're terrible. I work in the indie world, and so to me, 99% of all the actors are terrible because they just read lines and they're terrible.
And it's not about they forget that film and television is a visual medium that's told in pictures and images. So even a simple phrase that I say of see it before you say it. I can say to you, so I was like, I can say, why are you so angry? I just said it. Or I can go, why are you so angry? I took a half second to create that you were angry on the other side.
Right.
That's all the difference.
Huge
and
difference.
It takes a little, and it's a little thing, but it has a big impact. So what I realized is, from 15 years of self-taping, booking hundreds, losing thousands of opportunities, building relationships, doing the best work I can, the technical aspects of things changing drastically different from ring lights to now having to have 3 points of light and a backlight. Like, you know, like there's changes. But I think the thing is that as a storyteller and creative, our job is to change and to evolve. Not again, I can see the initial reaction of being of looking at it as a threat, as opposed to looking at it as an opportunity. And that comes down to just mindset. And that comes down to point of view. Is either you can hold on to an old idea that I'm waiting, and there's still some people in New York that are waiting to get back into the room live. And their careers are dead, waiting for that opportunity.
It's not going to happen.
That ship is
we're
sailing.
not going backwards. Yeah, we're not going back.
You know, we're going back in other areas, but we're not going back in terms of that, right? So I'm not going back. We're not going back. We are, but in some areas we're progressing in other areas. And so I feel like, so for me, having had all this experience, wisdom, not wisdom in any arrogant sense, but trial and error, having lost opportunities, not capitalized opportunities, I decided that I would share my knowledge, wisdom, and experience of doing this for the last 15 years. So I would do live workouts wherever I was. I would do live workouts where I would give people material. They'd have, 3-4 days to work on the material, have it memorized like they're coming in for a live audition. They do their first take. I give them a note or adjustment. They do their second take. And then when we're done, we watch the playback and I watch and I give them notes on how they took the note or adjustment, because at the end of the day, this is exactly what's going to be expected of you on set. So the way I replicated my business is exactly the way the business exists. Is when I'm self-taping, I get booked off my self-tape. I don't know this director. I don't know how they work. I don't know if they're an actor director or they're a person who screams from the monitor. I have no idea what I'm walking in. I don't know how the other actors are going to work. I'm walking into an entirely fresh situation of which I have to be trained for whatever happens. And so even for this movie that we're talking about today, which is Unit 234, it goes to Henry Winkler's great advice to me, which is it's a hustle at every level. The Fonz says, Yale graduate, Emmy-winning Henry Winkler says, James, to a young actor, James, it's a hustle at every level. Accept the hustle, enjoy the hustle, and don't give up. And
that's the best advice ever, too, by the way.
The best advice ever is to go wherever you are, you're going to want to hustle to be somewhere else. Don't be angry about it. Don't be resentful. Don't compare yourself to other actors. Their journey is their journey. Yours is yours. And if you give up all. You're never going to know what you were capable of doing.
No,
you're never going to know whether you were able to achieve all the things that you knew you were capable of. I can't give up because I see mediocrity being like lauded as incredible. And I go, oh my God, I have so much more to offer, No,
I agree with that.
And I go, so I can't let mediocrity or social, influencers who are not really influencing anything other than commerce and attention. They're not influencing, policy. They're not influencing democracy. They're not influencing, injustices. They're not influencing anything. They're creating content that creates revenue, that creates attention, but that's not that doesn't influence or change things.
Right.
So the point is that the storyteller's job is to hold his tour a mirror to nature. Not my quote, Shakespeare, to look at things. And so every single opportunity that I have to create a human being, usually in 24 to 48 hours, is an opportunity for me to be an actor. It's an opportunity for me to express what I'm capable of. So
and
even
you're actually an actor too, though.
It.
You're a real actor. I've seen Squid Game, Righteous Gemstones, Jurassic World, Trumbo, Patriots Day, Deepwater Horizon, Spencer Confident. I've seen you in all these different things, and you're never the same.
Right.
Acting.
And I even take exception of the C word. I'm not a character actor. I'm an actor. Sly Stallone is a character because he's a character actor because he does one real character and does it very, very well, and we love it. but it's really one
Oh,
dimensional.
see, I didn't really think that was the
I
definition.
think Tom Cruise is a character actor.
You're right.
You know, my favorite Tom
Cruise.
Cruise.
Said that. You're right.
Because actors do all different kinds of roles. Character actors do certain roles that the audience loves them playing those characters. Meaning, like when Will Ferrell tried to do a drama, nobody was interested. It's like a perfect example. My favorite Tom Cruise movie is the movie where Tom Cruise is cocky.
That's every movie.
Where Tom Cruise is the cocky guy that overcomes.
See,
That's one character. That's not.
I had a different idea. So, like to me,
I love Tom Cruise. I'm not trying to, but you see what I'm saying? We want people to play these kind of roles that we like and appreciate, which is great. And we want Sly Stallone because to come in and kick some ass and look, hey, I'm gonna do it. We want that. And the point is, there's nothing wrong with that. For me as an actor, I go, you're right. I'm the vice president of BP who's in a tie in Deepwater Horizon. I'm the emergency management guy who's caught between the bureaucracy in Patriots Day. I'm the Goomba from Boston that's got a matching tracksuit and car. Those are three totally different characters now. But let me
go to that. Wait, let me go to that because that's why I called you a character actor. So in my head, a character actor is a person who comes in. He doesn't star. You're not the Tom Cruise of the movie, but you're the movie who steals every scene that you're in. And to me, Stanley Tucci is like a character actor. No matter what he plays, he steals every movie he's in. He's the star, even though he's not the star. Right. So that was more my definition of a character actor. I wasn't thinking it as they play the same character like every time. Like, Robert De Niro is the same person in every movie. Like a lot of people are the same in every movie. You are not the same in any movie. You're different in all of them. Yeah. And so that was really, so when I said character actor, I was meaning it as a compliment, is like because your scenes are scene stealers.
And I don't take it as an insult at all. I do think though that I do feel that there is a transition that happens when and this is the transition that I feel that I'm in right now, which is moving from being a character actor, which is I serve the piece in a very specific way, to moving into the supporting lead, not the lead, but the supporting lead.
Yes.
The person that can hold their own. Like that's what I'm doing with Don Johnson in this movie. I'm his bodyguard. I'm his driver. I'm his henchman. You know what I mean? I'll take a bullet for him. Like I'm his ride or die. That's who I am to him. Like I serve all of those particular jobs and those roles in here. I played Leon, who is his driver, enforcer, henchman. I do everything for him. And so moving from character, and again, I think sometimes though, I think people look at character actors in a less favorable light than they do the leads of things. So in that regard, I think that hopefully that changes, because if you really look at Giamatti has moved from being the character that he's to being the leading man, so I look at Philip Seymour Hoffman, same deal. If you look at those are the examples that I use. I use Philip Seymour Hoffman, John C. Reilly, who now moves into lead playing, Jerry Buss. Like we transition from being a utility, what you need us for, and we evolve into what we know we're capable of. And it's from these kind of roles that keep us working and in your eye that, no one ever says when I'm doing a scene opposite Tom or Leo for Catch Me If You Can, or Jared Leto or Bryan Cranston, or working Melissa Leo, when you're working opposite Oscar-winning or nominated actors, and no one feels like that's like, oh man, that scene would have been great until that guy opened his mouth. You know what I mean? It was all great until that dude walked in the room. You know what I mean? So if you're the empowerment that I've felt over this time period has come from, yes, I am going to serve the story and tell the story of the human beings that are not necessarily the lead actor, the father, the husband, the doctor. Like we're all telling this collaborative story together. Right. And I understand the value of my part in that, but also know that it's like a closer in I'm a big baseball dude. So it's like a closer in baseball. You know what I mean? It's like the game, all the players have been happening. They've been there before. You know, we're in eight innings have gone by, and I have to come in and I got to throw 9 strikes. You know, I got to get us out of this game. I got to hold the game so we can go into extra innings. Like that's the job that I'm at right now, is that, you know, I'm moving from being the closer to being the supporting lead, which is I'm on a base. You know, I may be in left field, but I'm on a base and I'm in the
great explanation of it. So
and
you
I
have
might even be numbers. I might be a cleanup. I might be 7, 8, or 9 on the bat. You know what I mean? I'm not the 1, 2, 3. I'm at the end of the order, but the end of the order is pretty important in order to get to the next, to get the 1, 2, 3 up. So you need each other, you know?
So you have a new movie, because we've only got 7 minutes, and I want to make sure we talk about this new movie. New movie. It's coming out May 9th. I wrote down it's coming out in theaters and video on demand. Unit 234.
Unit 234. It's a thriller written by Derek Steiner. Really, really tight script. Directed by Andy Tennant, who did Hitch, who did Sweet Home Alabama. An incredible director. Really great movie. It's got Don Johnson as the lead in it. It's got Isabel Furman from the Orphan franchise. It's got good old Jack Houston from the Houston family, you know, dynasty of filmmakers and actors. Danny Houston's his uncle. John Houston is his great grandfather, I think. And he was mostly, you know, pulled out from Boardwalk Empire, and now he's on Mayfair Witches. He just directed a feature from the guy from Boardwalk Empire with the guy from about boxing that's like, was at Tribeca. So we got an incredible cast. It'll be in 5 theaters around the country on May 9th. And it'll be in Miami. No, not Miami. It'll be in Orlando. It'll be in Minnesota. It'll be in Los Angeles, because I'm going to go to Los Angeles for it. And it'll also be in Detroit, right? So but then the same day on May 9th, it drops video on demand. We have a streamer deal. It'll go to streamers later, but the video demand, catch it while you can in video demand, and then later on be on streamers. But it's a super fun movie. I was really glad. We shot in Grand Cayman Islands, a beautiful place to shoot. Most of the night shoots, so I had the days free to walk the beach and get my Patty license.
How is Isabel Furman? So I'm a huge horror movie fan, and Orphan is like a classic film. Incredible. I follow her on social media. I think she's fabulous.
She's fabulous on and off camera, the nicest person. She's also, it doesn't hurt that she's a huge Righteous Gemstones fan. So you love me and my son, I love you too. But no, she's awesome. We just had a conversation. She lives in another country, and she's going to hopefully try to come in in Los Angeles on the 9th. So we're trying to figure that out as we speak, literally when I hang up from you. But yeah, really great. She's fantastic. Jack is amazing. Got to spend time with him because Mayfair Witches was shooting in New Orleans. Really super guy. Don and I had a really good rapport. Unfortunately, the day that we were working together was the day that, you know, he found out about Bruce Willis and Bruce Willis's condition. And so, you know, he's known Bruce for a long, long time. So it was a tough day for us. It was one of our first day of shooting, actually. So it was a little tough the first day to one of his best friends is kind of really struggling and you know, really kind of, you know, so. But we had an incredible time. It's a solid, tight movie. It's you like a good thriller. It's got it all.
I watched the trailer a bunch of times over the last couple of days, and I think it looks terrific. I love the cast. I'm a big Don Johnson fan.
Yep.
I was an extra on Miami Vice back in the day when I was a kid because I lived in Miami, and I did a bunch of extra work, and so it was always just a cool thing to be on. And like I said, I'm really big fan of Isabel because I'm a horror. You know, I have my own horror site called darkfrights.com. So it's one of the biggest horror sites in the world, and I'm a big fan of Isabel Furman.
You got to see I did a nice little horror thrill. I did. If you ever get a hold of The Cellar Door, it's like this creepy little horror movie that I was in and produced.
Okay.
Yeah, I play a guy who's you know, finds girls to fall in love with him and traps them in the cellar, and if they don't, he kills them and then he gets another girl. It's super fun, but I got great and I made him a lovable sociopath. You know, it's a I don't know if that's possible, but it seems so because we have a president who's a lovable sociopath apparently.
Yeah, so I like love all that stuff though. All the different. I just got funding for a bigger budget for me type of movie to produce, and called Red River, and we just like approved the terms yesterday. So I haven't actually got it closed yet, but I've got a bigger horror movie that I'm going to be doing, and I've got 3 horror movies that are out right now.
Great.
And, so it's a lot of fun, but I'm looking forward to going up in the ranks. You know, I did a lot of I used to do a lot of under $1 million, and now I'm working in like the $3 to $5 million range, which is a big jump for me. And I'm looking forward to it. And I've really enjoyed all of your work. I love Righteous Gemstones. I didn't know that was your son on that show until recently.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a big part too. He's like
he's got a couple more. He's got 2 more episodes this season. He got a lot of play this season, more so than others, and he's got a nice little arc, which I think it's either get paid off this Sunday or the next. But yeah, we had a good run. He did 25 episodes. I did 20. But the fun part is we get to be on a show together. The next thing is I'm producing a film here with him in the lead in it. It's 1970s movie based on a true story, and then I have a horror thriller that I'm producing right after that. So
good for you.
Yeah.
You have a favorite horror movie?
Dude, I mean, they're doing a TV series of it now. I love Carrie, man. And I love Nightmare on Elm Street. Scream. I love good stuff. I like all of it, man. You know, it was really solid. You know, I like what's going on. You know, there's a good. And what I love is just like in terms of sci-fi, it's like the horror, the genre, and that audience and that fan base is incredible. You know, it's incredible. So yeah, man. And where are you shooting your movies in Florida, where you are, or other?
No,
places?
I'm in California. I'm actually in California. I live in Palm Springs. I'm in Palm Springs. So this first one we're shooting in LA. I got a big one directed by Adam Marcus. We're doing in Texas.
Great.
And then I have another one that I don't know where we're going yet, but I got the funding for it.
Louisiana, man, we got a 45% tax credit, bro.
Yeah, I hear it's great there, so I love it.
Yep.
All right, so James DuMont, you guys follow him on Instagram at James
making
DuMont.
movies without calling me now. You know, you gotta
I might be actually.
You know how to reach me.
I've got Instagram on camera workouts. You guys check out Unit 234 coming out May 9th. Don Johnson, Isabel Furman, Jack Houston, and of course James DuMont. Check out all his other great films. We want to thank you for coming on the show. Congratulations on everything. It's always a pleasure having you on the show, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks again. Appreciate it, Jimmy.
Thank you. All righty. Bye-bye. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. It was a great show today. Sorry Ron missed some of it, but he's just not feeling well, and we want to thank everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody. See ya.
This is MC Alfred and Ozzy. I'm just chilling, in a style, sitting down and designing. Why every man in my thinking, what are we gonna be wearing? Yo, I'm a Liverpool MC. You can't test me. Big up the girls inside the party. Let's get down to crazy Jimmy. Big up myself and known as Alfie, the one and only, the Turkish MC.
Always love the clothes of Jimmy.
Bitch, I'm your one I wanna be. Jimmy Star, new celebrity.
We'll take you out.